Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Good morning, I'm Carl Fitzpatrick and welcome to Business Matters. Well, earlier this week, the government launched a €2 billion COVID-19 credit guarantee scheme. The scheme, which is now open for applications, is the biggest ever state-backed loan guarantee in Ireland. An 80% government guarantee is on offer to participating banks to provide low-interest loans of up to €1 million to eligible SMEs for up to 5.5-year terms. For more information, you can visit sbci.gov.ie. Separately, it has come to my attention that hundreds of businesses across County Wexford have still not applied for the Restart Grant Plus through Wexford County Council. Grants are available from €4,000 to €25,000, and those businesses that accessed funding through the previous round of the scheme are eligible to apply for a second time. For more information about this grant, you can visit wexfordcoco.ie, and I can assure you the application process is simple. Now to my first guest. On Friday, October 16th, Focus Ireland will host its annual Shine a Light fundraiser in the Irish National Heritage Park to assist with the ongoing problem of homelessness in Ireland. The CEO of Focus Ireland, Pat Dennigan, joins me now to discuss the impact which COVID-19 has had on the homelessness crisis in Ireland, along with the upcoming Shine a Light event. Pat, before we discuss Shine a Light, I'd like to find out about your own career prior to joining Focus Ireland.
Originally, I'm a Sligo man, and I'm an accountant by trade. I'm a chartered accountant. And I worked in my earlier part of the career, I worked in multinational land. But I live in Galway. I live in a place called Barna, just outside of Galway. But I work in Dublin, predominantly. Our head office is based in Dublin. And I came to Focus originally as their finance director about 6 years ago. I came for 6 months, and I keep telling people that they didn't tell me which 6 months they wanted me to work for. But I've been here since, and I've been CEO for the last about 2.5 years.
And what's kept you there, Pat?
I suppose what's kept me here is both the purpose of Focus Ireland and also the people that we deal with, and also the people that work with us and volunteer with us and support us. It's a great place to work. It's a highly pressurized place to work, and you're dealing with in some cases, vulnerable people, in some cases, people who are in desperate situations. But there's a great feeling of accomplishment when you can actually achieve something on their behalf.
Remind us about the work which Focus Ireland undertakes.
I suppose Focus Ireland has been in place since 1985. We were founded back then by Sister Stanislaus Kennedy, Stan as we all call her. And Stan founded that with a vision of ending homelessness in Ireland. And that's still our vision. We've done it for lots of people up and down the country, but we have to continue to do it. And I suppose she would say she never thought it would take so long. But our goal is to end homelessness in Ireland. And what we do is do that in two really separate ways, two different approaches. One is through prevention, and that's to stop people falling into the trap of homelessness in the first place. Prevention is better than cure, as my granny used to say. And secondly, what we call sustained exits. So that's making sure someone gets a home, whether it's owned by Focus or owned in the private rented sector or owned by a local authority or another approved housing body or wherever it comes from. But that they also have the supports and the skills necessary to keep that home and make sure they don't fall back into the trap of homelessness in the first place.
And just as COVID-19 has severely impacted the business community, the charity sector has also been hard hit by the pandemic, hasn't it?
Absolutely, it has. Certainly from firstly speaking about our customers, the people we deal with, the people that we encounter, it had a huge impact on people who are in that homelessness space at the moment. As you can imagine, we've all had difficulties in the space of having to self-isolate, having to keep ourselves to ourselves, having to keep our families safe. Well, you can imagine the difficulty that stands when you don't have a home of your own. Potentially, if you're living in emergency accommodation or you're living with your family in a hotel or a B&B, the stresses, the strains, the anxieties and the pressures that can bring in a family life when you simply cannot, you don't know how to self-isolate, you don't know how to make those provisions, have been huge. And that's what our staff have been supporting right through the pandemic. But secondly, beside that, are the kind of stresses and strains that come from business, from fundraising, and all charities have been under pressure as a result of fundraising being curtailed because of the COVID-19 restrictions. And we have an event coming up on October 16th, which I know we'll talk about in a little while, called Shine a Light, to try and address that too.
And before we do discuss Shine a Light, Pat, has COVID-19 exasperated the homelessness problem in Ireland?
COVID-19 has caused a huge amount of difficulties for the homeless population. But having said that, we would say that it has shown us a way that we can deal with the homeless issue, and shown us a clear path forward. And that's one of the things that hopefully we can all learn out of the COVID restrictions. What I mean by that is there's been a massive amount of massively increased partnership effort between all the various agencies in Ireland, between the department, between the local authorities up and down the country, people like the HSE, TUSLA, and agencies like Focus Ireland. And they've really pulled together hugely to limit and protect the people who are homeless. The numbers recently released back for the end of July show that there's about 8,700 people homeless. Now that's down. It's down from a peak, most recent peak of 10,500 about last October. And there are kind of clear reasons for that, some of which are actually related directly to the COVID restrictions, because the government at the time brought in emergency legislation to stop people being served with notices to quit, notice of termination during the COVID crisis. And that dramatically stopped the number of families and people presenting as homeless, because the vast majority of those people are coming from the private rented accommodation sector.
And Pat, since the expiry of that specific legislation, has there been a dramatic increase in the number of notices of termination being issued by landlords?
We do understand that the restrictions had a dramatic effect on the number of people presenting as homeless, and now those restrictions are passed more or less. The current government has brought in more limited restrictions for people who are receiving support for the COVID employment payments and for rent supplement. But the previous situation whereby a landlord could serve a notice of termination because he wanted to sell the property, or indeed he wanted to move a family member into the property, applies now, and that they were some of the major impacts for families and individuals presenting as homeless.
Now, Pat, the reason that I've asked you to join us on this morning's show is to discuss the upcoming Shine a Light fundraiser. Of course, it's very important that this proceeds this year in spite of the pandemic.
Exactly. And right through the restrictions and right through the COVID-19 pandemic, Carl, we've seen about a 40% increase in the demand for our services. We would track that our people coming to us looking for support and assistance. But last year in 2019, we had over 14,000 people came to us for assistance, and that's up about 40% this year because of the COVID situation. So we're really in a situation where we really need all of the help and support we can get from the public. And our primary event in that regard this year is what's called Shine a Light. Now it's something that's been running for a number of years, and but it's a night where people get the chance to experience in a small way what homelessness is like. It's a sleep out. We run it around the country in various different guises over the years. And it started originally as a business leader sleep out, and it still goes ahead with that. In this year, it's in the Law Society in Blackwell Place, but we also hold it around the country. And in the southeast this year, it'll be in the Irish National Heritage Park in Wexford. A fantastic venue. We're delighted to be able to use that venue and delighted to get the opportunity to do it. But we'll also have it in Spike Island in Cork, in Limerick, and in Sligo. And we're really looking forward to a great response from the public, both in terms of support and in sharing information about the issue. throughout the country.
And Pat, I'm delighted to be an ambassador for the Wexford Shine a Light event this year, which of course, as you say, is being held in the Irish National Heritage Park on Friday, October 16th. But what can people expect on the night?
Shine a Light it has a number of different connotations. One, we want to get information out there. We want to share with the public what being homeless is about and what the issues relating to it are. And we're delighted to be able to do that through many different guises in the lead up to Shine the Light night on October 16th, but also through social media and other venues on the night. But also it's a chance to meet people and talk to people and get them to experience in some way what our customers, the people that we deal with, experience. We'll have a number of opportunities during the night to talk to people about their real life family experience of being homeless, what the experience was like for them and how they got out of it. And also to see what kind of solutions we can propose for the future. Homelessness has been one of the major social issues of the last number of years. Thankfully, the numbers are going the right direction. We want to build on that and build on kind of solutions that can come from the public through ourselves and with others to beat this problem for good.
And of course, we live in very uncertain times, and whilst we hope there won't be, but in the event that there's a local lockdown in Wexford at that particular time, have you a contingency plan in place?
We do indeed, and it's very important that we say in all of this situation, safety is absolutely paramount in what we're doing, particularly in light of COVID-19. We have contingency plan in place. Rather than having people sleeping out together, sleeping out in a space like that people will sleep out in their homes or in their gardens. And we do invite people to actually do that as well.
And Pat, how can people register for this event that's coming up in the Irish National Heritage Park on Friday, October 16th?
The best way to register for that is on our website, focusireland.ie/shine a light. All of the details are there, and if you do register on there, you'll have somebody in touch with you to complete whatever the preparations are. We're delighted to have someone like yourself as the ambassador, Carl, in the southeast area, and we really appreciate the support from the public in doing this.
Thank you very much, Pat, and it's my pleasure. Finally, Pat, this morning, as we look beyond the Shine a Light fundraiser, what are your objectives for Focus Ireland over the next 12 to 18 months, and what's your outlook for the wider charity sector over that period?
I suppose my outlook for the next 12 to 18 months is that we continue the momentum that's been built in the last number of months on addressing homelessness. We believe that it is a clear, achievable goal, and it's not something that's just a pipe dream that we can end homelessness in this country. We believe we can do that by building on the momentum around partnership. We take the learnings from COVID and we take the learnings from the period we've just come through and we apply them. We've all learned to our cost, to work in different ways, but some of those ways have actually got a lot to offer in any kind of a normal. And to put those into practice and make sure we take the best for both will be my hope for the next few months in the charity sector.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Pat Dennigan, the CEO of Focus Ireland, and I would urge both the business community and the wider public to support this extremely worthy cause on Friday, October 16th.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast.